So, wir sind online für einen kleinen kurzen Test, bevor es losgeht. Ja, fantastisch, ne, wenn man den Vollbildmodus benutzt, aber ich glaube, wir werden das einfach so machen. Und, perfektes Timing. Ja, der Stream lädt. Es gibt schicke Werbung vorne dran. Ja, mal gucken, wie der Sound so ist. Eventuell müssen wir den nochmal ganz kurz ein bisschen runterdrehen. Ich glaube, wir werden das tatsächlich erstmal so lassen. Die Musik ist ja schon mal gut. So. Dafür leckt der Stream. Auch sehr schön. Ja, 0 Zuschauer. Was soll ich sagen? Geht halt erst gleich los. Und es weiß natürlich auch keiner, dass wir heute live kommentieren zum Pax Stream. Ist quasi ein kleiner Test. Dann werden wir gleich mal sehen, wie das wird. Ja, ich bin tatsächlich gespannt, was diese Präsentation bringen wird. Es gab ja genug Neuigkeiten in der letzten Zeit. Ja, Diskussionen um den neuen Publisher, my.com. Ja, dann natürlich die Anreise von Steven nach Amsterdam und die Rückkehr und das abschließende Treffen auf der Gamescom. Und was die Beteuerungen alle so mit sich gebracht haben. Wir sind natürlich alle gespannt darauf, ob das alles natürlich nachher so passieren wird, wie angekündigt, aber ich bin ziemlich zuversichtlich. Steven hat einen sehr, soll ich sagen, sehr übersichtlichen, nein, nicht sehr übersichtlichen, was rede ich denn? Sehr überzeugenden Eindruck gemacht, was seine Ambitionen angeht und hat auch sehr deutlich vermittelt, dass er alles tun wird, um sein kleines Kind zu retten. Von daher sind wir natürlich alle wirklich gespannt, was heute kommen wird. Vielleicht gibt es ja auch überraschenderweise doch noch einen Publisher verkünden, vielleicht für Ozeanien, Japan, Asien oder irgendwas in der Richtung. Wir werden es sehen. Ja, wunderschönen Tag, Lunette Game TV. Auch schon gespannt darauf, was es geben wird. wie ehrfürchtig sie alle im Chat sitzen und nichts weiter sagen. Wahrscheinlich sind alle nochmal unterwegs, sich was zu trinken holen. Aber wir werden es sehen. Der Chat selber von Ashes of Creation läuft natürlich schon seit ungefähr 15 Minuten heiß. Ja. Lunatic Game TV, wenn ich das noch richtig weiß, das Alpha-Datum war der 15. oder 17. September. Also tatsächlich die gute Mitte. Wenn das jetzt tatsächlich irgendwie noch nirgendwo richtig festgeschrieben war, dann wird es bestimmt heute bekannt gegeben. Möglicherweise erleben wir auch quasi einen Live-Lounge für Namensregistrierung oder andere Sachen, aber naja, wir werden es sehen. Ich habe schon jemals gefragt, ob irgendwann mal irgendwas Produktives in einem Twitch-Chat geschrieben wurde. Willkommen übrigens auch an Ashes Mania TV und natürlich an unseren lieben Homepage-Admin, den Jürgen, und den technischen Admin, den Chris. Was traust du dich nicht? Also, dir muss natürlich klar sein, Lunatic Game TV, wenn du mit in den Streaming-Channel kommst, dann darfst du natürlich mitsprechen. Verzichte bitte auf Hintergrundgeräusche, versuche alles so weit wie es geht zu eliminieren, aber wenn du tatsächlich mitdiskutieren möchtest, was so live im Stream passiert, halte dich einfach an die allgemeinen Benimmregeln, dann bist du auch herzlich willkommen. Ja, wir müssen nur nachher darauf achten, dass es nicht zu viel wird. Und dann können wir gerne gemeinsam darüber diskutieren und kommentieren, was so passieren wird. So, meine Uhr zeigt noch 2 Minuten, dann sollte es losgehen. Und ja, man sieht tatsächlich auch schon im offiziellen Twitch-Kanal von Ashes of Creation, dass sich die Leute auch fragen, was heute passieren wird. Es gibt immer wieder die Nachfrage, was wird der heutige Stream wohl covern? Und wie gerade eben angedeutet, es gibt immer noch die große Frage, warum my.com ausgewählt wurde. Aber in den letzten Tagen waren die Statements dazu sehr ausufernd und sehr, sehr detailliert beschrieben. Steven selbst hat geschrieben, er hat mit einer ganzen Reihe von Publishern gesprochen. Und my.com war der einzige Publisher in Europa, der gesagt hat, dass er den ganzen Bedingungen vorbehaltlos zustimmen wird und das auch alles in seinen Vertrag aufnehmen wird. Ein anderer Publisher war dazu bereit, die Sachen in den Vertrag mit aufzunehmen und von daher bin ich sehr zuversichtlich, dass Steven sich vernünftig darum gekümmert hat, was mit einem Publisher in Europa passieren sollte und dass das uns den besten Service bringen wird. Hallo, Jo, da 82 und es geht los.
Ashes of Creation. That's not little at all.
Bisschen dunkel, ne?
But I will go through our introductions and talk about this esteemed group of gentlemen in front of you who are working, I think, one of the hardest working teams in games, which makes me really excited, and it's great to see that. So give them a round of applause just for the fact that they are working a lot.
Ja, die Willkommensrunde.
So next to me here, he probably has one of the toughest jobs as lead technical designer, but Akil Hooper.
Hi, everyone. I also want to say hi to my son, Logan, who's watching on Twitch. He's pretty excited to see me.
Eine kleine Vorstellungsrunde.
Akil actually has worked on, he was on EverQuest as well, so he goes back into MMOs almost as...
Ja, der Kommentator merkt gerade an, dass viele der Entwickler und Designer bei EverQuest waren und das werden wir natürlich mitnehmen. Ich hoffe, das bringt viel Innovation.
Jeff is proficient in the lute and the panpipe, so he will be playing for us later. Jeff is actually lead game designer, and he was also lead game designer on EverQuest 2,
Yep.
and several other things. Right?
Yeah, we go way back at Sony. So.
Awesome. Next to him is one of my favorite people, and I always say this, and I'm going to say it again. I love getting his calls at 7 a.m. Don't mind, because it's 7 a.m. East Coast times, which means he's up at 4 a.m., which I wish I could do that. But you're and our creative director, Stephen Sharif, and CEO of Intrepid as well. So I'm going to throw this in. Thank you for making
der Reihe nach wurden vorgestellt Kiel, Jeffrey und Steven.
Next to him is Matt Broom. Matt is your lead character artist.
Hello, Broom family.
Ja. Ja, das ist natürlich ganz klar der Lead Character Designer Matt und ganz rechts ist natürlich der Baconator, der nicht fehlen darf.
A bunch of comics you probably heard of.
Yeah, see, that's the cool part, right? It's the comic art. I'm good at stick figures, Matt, if you ever need someone to do stick figure artwork. And last but not least, we have fantastic discussions about first edition Dungeons and Dragons. So anybody in here can do that. Awesome. Michael Bacon, who is your environmental artist.
Thank you.
So Michael makes sure that the worlds you see in Ashes of Creation are absolutely stunning, and they are. And he's worked on, everything. I mean,
auffallend ist im Übrigen, dass sich auf der Bühne tatsächlich ein Großteil an Designern befindet. Natürlich nur ein Chefprogrammierer, wenn ich das so sagen darf. Und natürlich der Kopf von allem, der das überhaupt ermöglicht hat, Steven.
And tell everybody what you've been growing towards. I'm going to leave it to you guys. Go ahead.
Well, it's been actually really crazy. We were here last year, 1 year ago, and today we now have over 100 people on the project. And we are growing to 200 people on the project before the end of this year.
Steven erzählt gerade davon, wie es vor einem Jahr war, dass sie dort gerade einmal etwas weniger als 100 Mitarbeiter hatten und jetzt natürlich schon über 200 Mitarbeiter zählen. Und dass sie natürlich an einem Spiel entwickeln, das so viele Leute erwarten, sich so viele Spieler wünschen.
The team grow to the size we are. And I mean, we're literally bursting at the seams in the office.
We don't fit anymore.
Right. We have engineers in France. We have artists in Malaysia. We're now working on the project 24/7 across the globe.
Ja, und mittlerweile sind sie wohl tatsächlich dabei, dass sie rund um die Uhr, rund um den Globus entwickeln.
Yeah, I think it was like 20. Like 25 maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, we've quadrupled in size basically, and you can kind of see the results of that in kind of what we've been working on. It's been fun. It's been trying to integrate everybody into like our way of doing things. is challenging but also rewarding. You get a lot of buy-in from people who haven't experienced kind of our pace of doing things,
Right.
Nor our kind of like, you know, way of getting things done. It's been fun. We've got a lot of really cool people, a lot of really smart.
Ja, und Jeffrey
sharp
erzählt
cats,
gerade
that are all in the
darüber,
project now. And,
wie fantastisch
It's
er das
actually
Team
been really
findet
fun,
und mit welcher
watching as we
Kompetenz
bring new
das Team
members
vorangeht.
on board, the team, that literally the day they sit down in their seat, they're producing something.
Go, go, go.
Up and running.
There's no time for waiting.
There's no time. We're
Sink or
moving at
swim.
intrepid speed. We say it in the office a lot. Yeah, no, the growth has been amazing over the past year.
Awesome. I have this image of, hi, congratulations, welcome to Intrepid Studios. Please sit down. This is Akil, and he's going to be directing you on how to code.
That's pretty much true,
Yeah.
except for the high congratulations part.
That's pretty darn
Great.
close.
It's great.
Oh no,
Casually,
Sons of the Seven.
casually. I didn't
No
spill.
banner shall fall. That's the key.
That wasn't me.
So what's fascinating, and this is an experience I've gone through. I hope maybe some of you have gone through in the audience, but you guys just got back from Germany and Gamescom, and Gamescom is a 400,000 person show. I've been there.
I had no idea how big it was.
Yeah, it is a beast of a show. But apparently, you had a very successful Gamescom. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because it was a week ago.
We literally actually decided to go to Gamescom 48 hours before the flight left. It was like down to the wire.
Ja, Sie erzählen gerade
I
darüber, wie
lost my
kurzfristig
passport
die,
too, actually, and I was
die
like trying to
Entscheidung
find it,
war,
had to run down to
zur
the passport
Gamescom in der
office in
Köln
San
zu
Diego in the
fahren.
middle of the day,
Und
the day before the flight
Steven
left,
hat wohl
got my
offenbar auch
passport
seinen
the same day.
Pass verloren.
It was crazy. But no, we had a very successful Gamescom. I mean, every single press interview that we did, we were in the business side of things, so all the meetings that we had were literally you could watch as people didn't have any idea what Ashes of Creation was, and then their jaw just dropped after they saw the most recent combat footage that we showed. And that was really fun to see their transition, because we had the laptop set up with a screen in a room, and we would show them first Alpha Zero. Well, first we would show them pre-alpha footage, then Alpha Zero footage, and then we'd show them the most recent footage, and they would literally just their face would go white. With like, what is this?
Yeah, we would tag team them and convert them over to our side. We had a lot of influencers come by. We had some fans come by.
We got 2 awards.
We got 2 awards.
Yeah.
Und sie haben 2 Preise gewonnen.
Best independent game.
Yeah.
Bestes unabhängiges
That
Spiel.
was really awesome, actually. We didn't expect that at all, being kind of in the business section.
Right. It was awesome.
But yeah.
Cool. Well, now that we got all of the business talk out of the way, let's get to the great part, right? Which is, what have you guys been doing? Because I think you have some surprises today for the group here at PAX that even I was getting messages from Steven last night about, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to be talking about that. Let's do it. So why don't you guys start, and we can go through the whole panel and talk about what you've been doing lately, because it's. Trust me, you guys are going to be jumping out of your seats in about 20 minutes.
I think we might have a timeline image that we could probably find that might help kind of set the stage for the process from there to now.
Don't make Peter nervous. He's scrambling.
I'm
back
sorry,
Peter's scrambling. We've already changed the format.
Peter.
Off the rails.
there. There it is. There
So,
it
wir
is.
werden jetzt höchstwahrscheinlich gleich eine Folie gezeigt bekommen, die sehr kurzfristig zusammengestellt wurde.
Okay, and we're running through the slides. That's okay.
Those
we'll
are some
find it.
shields.
Surprise.
Dann werden wir die Timeline sehen,
Okay.
wie sich das
We don't
Projekt
have
entwickelt
audio
hat.
issues,
No,
so
we don't have audio issues. That's
and thank you.
No, okay. So I mean, where we came from and where we are, in the past really 4 or 5 months of development has been, when the Kickstarter ended in June and the summer backing ended in July, I believe.
We went to PAX after that.
We went to Pax West. So we came to Pax West and we came with a really early build, and that was important for us.
Der Backinator braucht halt einen eigenen Tisch,
One,
Jürgen.
being a Kickstarter game can have somewhat of a stigma associated
So eine
with
große
it.
Persönlichkeit.
Some games kind of
Ja.
go for years and years and years, and they don't put anything in the hands of the players to get active feedback, to show development process, that kind of thing. So it was really important for us to come to PAX West a year ago, even if it was such an early build. And that's obviously a two-edged sword, because you're dealing with people thinking, okay, this is what the game's going to look like. And on the flip side, you want that feedback and design features that we're implementing in the back end that we're building, right?
And we also want to establish that trust, right? Like, we are working on stuff hard for you guys, and it's not really fair to hide that from you, right? Or to keep that from you. Right. And because of that stigma with Kickstarter, it was really important to, like, here, take it. See,
Yes.
we're doing stuff.
Exactly. So that's what we came to PAX West last year. We had that PAX build.
So there was like one boss in that.
Yeah.
There were 4 classes. There was a couple skills. Like
No
3 more.
progression. There was no
total.
persistence yet.
Yeah.
There was,
So, Sie sprechen gerade nochmal darüber, wie es letztes Jahr war, dass Sie unbedingt auf die PAX West wollten, um den Leuten zu präsentieren, dass Sie tatsächlich etwas tun. Mit Kickstarter-Projekten ist das ja immer so eine Sache. Und deswegen gab es auf der letzten PAX West ein Boss, 4 Klassen, ein Leveln, einfach um überhaupt erstmal was zeigen zu können.
And we had 2,500 testers, and that was a huge jump from PAX to
Right.
Alpha Zero. That's where we implemented our launcher, we had the back-end systems, we had progression, we had persistence to level 10, we had 4 archetype classes available, we had over 100 skills available, we had 27 monsters in the zone, we had a 16 square kilometer map, which is roughly the size of Skyrim.
4 Klassen und über 100 Skills verfügbar.
We had a bunch of storylines.
We had a
and quests.
functioning node system.
The node system was functional, collecting experience, progression to stage 3, showing the base designs of the game literally built within less than 6 months.
So that was all of our core systems, all of our backends.
Interessant. Also innerhalb kürzester Zeit, innerhalb von einem halben Jahr, haben sie die meisten Basissysteme fertiggestellt. Ja, den Fortschritt beim Leveln, das Node-System bis auf Stufe 3 und natürlich noch andere Sachen. Und das ist natürlich schon sehr beeindruckend.
The key point from there was that, putting that out in the hands again, getting feedback from 2,500 testers. And, we didn't spend a lot of time on the combat. That was not our primary focus. But obviously that two-edged sword came back to bite us a little bit, where people said, hey, this combat looks bad. It doesn't look fun. This is too slow. It's all, just feedback that we knew we were going to spend time on, but the player didn't necessarily know, or at least some percentage of them didn't. So our next step was, okay, our next milestone was Alpha 1. And Alpha 1, we obviously wanted to have 1/4 of the map size. We wanted to have all the base archetype classes available. We wanted to have persistence and progression to level 20. We wanted to have a lot of things there. But we decided, because of player feedback and wanting to see us doubling down and focusing on development of combat, that we were going to add an additional phase to Alpha 1.
Also, warum wir tatsächlich in der Alpha 1 hauptsächlich mit dem Kampf zu tun haben werden, ist der Grund, dass sie in der Alpha Zero jede Menge Feedback zum Kampf bekommen haben. Und sie möchten natürlich, dass der Kampf tatsächlich Spaß macht. Es gab ganz viel Feedback darüber, dass der Kampf zu langsam ist, keinen Spaß macht. Und deswegen konzentrieren sie sich in der Alpha 1 am Anfang darauf, der Kampf funktioniert, insbesondere der Actionkampf. Ja, und wir werden dann also quasi tatsächlich ein Kampfsystem bekommen, was den Spielern gefallen wird.
And then 3, if that system doesn't feel good, then the rest of the game is really having a problem.
Right.
So we created a whole new phase that we were going to introduce that was just going to focus on. And there's a lot of systems that go into the phase 1 that just don't relate to combat, actually. There is the matchmaking process for the in-game arena system. There is the server architecture that needs to get set up to host a bunch of. There's the live game ops that's going to be present. There is the production of many skills. There's the projectile-based systems. There's the raycasts that need to be completed. There's the whole character art pipeline, the environment art pipeline, building that world. There's a lot of stuff outside of just the.
Es werden wohl tatsächlich viele Systeme zusammenkommen. Es wird offenbar ein Projektilsystem geben, das nicht unbedingt selbstverständlich in einem MMO ist. Ich meine mich zu erinnern, dass Terra tatsächlich auch ein Projektilsystem hat. Aber interessant zu wissen, sie geben sich auf jeden Fall die größte Mühe, den Kampf so zu gestalten, dass er eben Spaß macht und auch interessant ist und niemanden enttäuscht.
At the end of the day, we want these castle sieges to be really huge events, and the only way to get to that point is to really see where our limits are and fix those limits and try.
Tja, du hast im Übrigen vollkommen recht. Es ist schon sehr erstaunlich, dass sie das Spiel nächstes Jahr herausbringen wollen. Allerdings mit einem Team der Größe und einem guten Management ist das durchaus managebar. Wir entwickeln ja nicht erst seit gestern.
Has everybody seen the most recent action combat video?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, so you'll notice there was a huge upgrade in what the game looked like, right? And a lot of that is these guys' responsibility. Obviously it's a game that's in production, so stuff like this is always going to continue to improve. But in the last 4 months, the difference between where we came from and where we are now is just massive.
Yeah.
Right, Matt?
Yeah, I was going to say, Matt, do you want to talk us through some of the pictures and weapons?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the slides that we decided to bring here, they do to Pax West.
So, wir sehen jetzt tatsächlich auch eines der Slides. Wir kennen das Slide natürlich schon. Das sind 3D-Artworks von verschiedenen Waffen. Ich glaube immer noch, dass das hier kein Zepter ist, sondern immer noch eine zweiblättrige Axt. Hier sieht man das Artwork von einem Zauberbuch. Der Bogen ist, glaube ich, neu.
So our whole focus was getting this stuff to work technically at Pax West last year. So this huge jump in detail and fidelity that you guys are seeing scales all the way up, not only in our test, environment, but it also scales all the way up to the larger, product a couple years.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, the goal is kind of to do have every piece
Oh, die
feel like a
Armbrust ist
one-off piece,
auch
but
neu.
not actually
Sieht
created.
ja sehr fantastisch
Yeah, I mean,
aus.
everybody kind
Vorne
of,
mit den
all
Zinken
MMOs
dran.
kind of start with your t-shirt and pants, right? And then from there you start making all these decisions about how you want to look unique in the world. And one of the things I've talked about on all the projects I work with is people really kind of fall in love with these early previs images, but really MMO players get in and the first thing they do is have a sense of uniqueness to the way that they look. So, my job really, and Michael's job, is make sure that everything you see is customizable, everything is modular, everything can grow.
Gerade sprechen Sie im Übrigen darüber, wie Sie sich darum kümmern, dass alles customizable ist, also anpassbar ist, skaliert, mit dem Levelfortschritt voranschreitet, dass die Details früher gar nicht so detailliert waren. Ja, es wird immer größer vom Detail. Oh, auch ein sehr schöner Streitkolben, beziehungsweise Morgenstern.
Experience on a character team is about 13 years of MMO. It is not the average
And
character.
put it in perspective, Matt's former art director on H1Z1, EverQuest, DC Universe.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of
Good
visuals,
characters.
Yeah.
Oh, was war das?
These characters have, on average, even at their base look, about 11 pieces of customizable detail, and that scales up to as many as 27 pieces. And that's at level 10 and 20. So the amount of modular sets is amazing. And more importantly, even the combat video that some of you guys saw, the key to that is those are real game assets. They're not demo assets. These aren't fakey assets. They're running through a character pipeline. It's the same pipeline we will scale up. It's all real.
Also die Entwürfe, die wir gesehen haben, sind tatsächlich Entwürfe, die man nachher auch im Spiel finden wird. Am Anfang werden die Sets nicht so detailliert sein. Da besteht jedes Set aus ungefähr 11 Stücken. Das heißt nicht die Items, die man anzieht, sondern das ist tatsächlich, wie die Items gestaltet werden. Und bis Level 20 wird sich diese Stückzahl pro Set quasi auf 20 oder 27, bin mir jetzt gerade nicht sicher.
Something on the screen and then logging in and experiencing something completely different.
And we'll tell Steven, no, Steven, usually that's like 18 months out. He goes, no. We do it for real. Take the time. As a player, this drove me crazy when I was 10 years old, and he just goes off about this all the time in the studio. So he got the right collective, skill set and talent in there. But
wunderschönen guten Abend, Fortune.
all the time is to run through all the systems, all the security checks, and stop-off points to the server with real content going through real pipelines. So like some of the stuff you guys are, so for instance, like this right here is the orb. So you guys have seen like way early on, even in our Kickstarter, you saw her running around with the orb in the book. So we're really showing a progression, a year later at PAX, that all these real game assets have made in a short amount of time.
And one of the things Matt's doing for us that's really great is he said modular, kind of blew by it, but all these pieces can be put together to make like hundreds of very unique, very heroic looking sets, right? So you're not going to be running around in the world and seeing a bunch of people who look just like you. You're really going to be able to customize yourself
Oh, das ist aber sehr fantastisch. Wir sprechen gerade darüber, dass die Rüstungsgegenstände, die man tragen wird, und die Waffen und anderen Gegenstände tatsächlich auch von einem selber individualisierbar sein werden. Es wird also tatsächlich durch das Herstellungssystem möglich sein, das Aussehen zu beeinflussen, und das wird natürlich dazu führen, dass niemand gleich aussieht im Spiel.
Right now,
I was trying to do that number in my head, and I'm like,
it scales really, really
the reason for that, I mean, the reason for that is it's, I mean, yes, it's difficult to do that. It is a lot of work to do that.
Upfront work.
But from a player's perspective, the ability to capitalize on the RPG element of the MMORPG to define a unique look on behalf of your character is something I know I've always wanted to see. I don't like walking around in a world and seeing cookie cutter set after cookie cutter set. I want to see customizable aspects of those attachments, those unique filigrees, those defining features of a set that's available to the player to dictate.
And this is what's fun. This is one of my most fun things. This is my favorite project I've ever done, and I'm not just saying that because Steven's sitting here, but one of the
Ein kleiner
if
Witz.
he didn't sign my checks, I would say this.
Matt erzählt gerade darüber, wie viel Spaß ihm das macht, dieses Projekt zu gestalten. Diese vielen kleinen Replays, wie ich es jetzt nennen würde, also die feinen Facetten der Gegenstände. Und er sagt das nicht nur, weil Steven neben ihm sitzt und nachher seine Checks bezahlt.
Steven is a total opposite. Shoot for the moon. Make it ridiculously badass. Go way farther. No, even the base t-shirt and pants should look amazing high fantasy. It's always a theme. So the artists have this incredible sense of autonomy to go upstairs, and on this project, the artist designed the aesthetics for the armor.
The artists are literally upstairs.
Unusual. And you just get to blow it out and just keep pushing it farther and farther. So me and Steven kind of established this agreement. I'll push it too far, you tell me when to come back. So
To be fair, I have had to say a couple times come back. To be fair.
never tell an artist to just go to the moon.
Now, and just to be clear, you know, obviously the progression there from start to finish is still a relevant and uniquely defined one. You will know who's in a starter set and who is in the most badass, you know, looking
It's
good
ridiculous.
set.
But you shouldn't look
It's
like a
ridiculous.
pauper when you start on
Exactly.
day one.
You are a hero who has literally stepped through the divine gateway into a world of complete darkness and treachery, and you are here to set things right and build civilization again. That's a heroic person.
Yeah, you're already a hero when you arrive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also,
So
es wurde nochmal ganz kurz klar herausgestellt, man wird schon ein Held sein, wenn man durch das Portal kommt, diese wirklich finstere Welt.
Poetry.
Und deswegen werden die Rüstungen am Anfang auch nicht zu simpel aussehen, aber man wird natürlich trotzdem am Ende erkennen können, wer schon ein höheres Level hat, und es wird wohl viel atemberaubender aussehen.
Well, this is where we basically started from Alpha Zero. So as you can see, it's pretty rough. And then we knew going on early on that we were going to have to build some really, really big stuff. So a lot of it was just basically building in the pipelines in order to, you know, do things a little bit more modularly and put together processes and things so we can actually be able to build things that you could scale, you know, for like our dynamic world that we're creating. So in this Alpha 1 we have here, we focused on kind of three.
Der Baconator, der natürlich für die Gestaltung der Welt an sich zuständig ist, erzählt gerade darüber, wie Mühe sie sich geben müssen, diese vielen kleinen Gegenstände im Spiel zu gestalten und es quasi zu einer dynamischen Atmosphäre zusammenzubringen.
Humans will start with their housing and stuff, and they'll be more Western sort of influence, like Old West almost styling. And then it would sort of like.
Ja, gerade kommt im Chat bei uns die Frage, wo denn die große Ankündigung bleibt. Noch ist die große Ankündigung offen. Wir werden es also sehen.
You know, they would like kind of move into more of a Gothic kind of direction. So so basically, you know, it kind of gives you a sense of like progression as the nodes are progressing up as far as tech level and everything.
Oh, das sieht fantastisch aus. War das in den Videos zu sehen? Diese Burgfront mit den Bannern,
I mean,
kann mich überhaupt gar nicht dran
important part of
erinnern.
this, is from an art perspective, not just character but environment as well, is that modular capability of the building the world around you, both from character and environment, allows for such diverse landscapes that are actually capable of being built into a production-worthy pipeline that's going to deliver on a timely time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The key is you want to achieve the best in an acceptable time period.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. You got an X amount of time. Go.
Right,
do
absolutely.
the best
So
you
I
can.
think with Alpha 1 and the environment that we've built for this Alpha 1 Phase 1 testing period, we now have actually buildable buildings that are now capable to the players as well, and that has a variety of modular tools that can construct those.
Exactly.
Right, yeah, and then we have 3 castle sets that are building. Castle set you built, that John built recently, and then the old Metropolis one from the Desert videos.
Ich verstehe.
And you'll see that
Aktuell sprechen Sie gerade über die Gebäude-Assets und bis jetzt gibt es wohl schon 3 fertig designte Burg-Layouts.
That is true. So,
Hier sieht man übrigens ganz gut Texturen mit Displacement Mapping. Heißt das überhaupt so? Naja, egal. Ihr wisst, was ich meine.
Yeah, those are highly difficult things to do, all in parallel to each
Oh,
other.
fantastisch.
Playtesting everything.
Es gibt also tatsächlich richtige Wolken im Spiel und Berge werden oben hinausragen. Jetzt ist natürlich die Frage, ob man diese Berge auch erkunden wird.
The terrain assets were not going to be destructible.
Yeah.
For phase one, wasn't in part
Hier
of
sieht
that
man
deadline.
allerdings auch, ne, es sieht ein bisschen unscharf aus, aber naja, vielleicht kommt das ja noch.
Much shorter time period.
We thought it was
than
going to
we
take a
thought.
long time to develop this system, and then it ended up taking like a couple days.
I think it was like 2 days.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Whoa. You're telling the wrong.
So we gained some time
A little
there.
bit
A
wrong.
little short? Okay,
Little
go ahead.
short
Go
there.
ahead.
No, we were in the meeting and we were
Right.
talking about it, and Kevin was basically telling us how it was going to take, like, what was it, a month?
Like a
or
month and a half
Month and a half or
work
something
week.
like that.
Not to mention any
and then
names.
he literally went to his desk and had, like, something up and running for
like
destroying
2 hours.
pieces in, like, it was like a half hour.
It's like 30 minutes.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
So now when I heard that we had something up and running, that's when I was like, all right, producers, add it to the schedule. It's in phase 1.
But then it was actually having to go back through all the assets that we had already created and then trying to retrofit all
Then
that
the art
technique
stuff
into it and
starts
that
to
kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
but then Bacon stepped up and said, okay, if this blueprint's working, then we can start retrofitting all the buildings. So
Exactly.
that was good.
And one of the cool things too is about these modular systems, right? It's really easy to kind of make the assumption that modularity ends up feeling generic, but that's really kind of not the case in this product. Like, the modularity gives us a chance to make every kind of place feel like it has its own character.
And I mean, that's really the thing,
A
too.
testament to the artist, too.
It really is,
you have to build
because
it right.
the artist challenge is that you really have to plan your assets years ahead. And you also have to plan the design changes in a way where you don't gate the designers at all. So always think of it from the standpoint you're building this massive freeway system. You don't really know where all the stop signs are, but you just know people need to get on and get off, and you have to plan that like way ahead, because you don't want the designers to ever feel like you never really want to tell designers no. You always kind of want to give them 3 options, to get home. So I think what is the most challenging in our world with our teams really is getting them to really shoot for the moon now, but understand ultimately we have to finish at Jupiter 3 years from now.
Exactly.
So the modular stuff definitely is always like, where do we build the freeway system and get the game done and get it working at a decent framework?
Also das modulare System, das sie einsetzen zum Design des Spiels, zielt natürlich auch darauf ab, dass man als Designer die Möglichkeit hat, etwas für das aktuelle Ziel zu designen, ne? Aber als Lead-Designer hat man natürlich schon das Ziel viel, viel weiter hinaus. True to the Stars and It's the Moon, beziehungsweise in dem Fall dann natürlich noch viel, viel weiter bis zum Jupiter als Ziel in weiterer Ferne.
And so yeah, there's work on the back end to make sure that's all scalable and fast and efficient and doesn't break every third time. But then even aside from that, it's taking a lot of the stuff that's in our imagination and making it work, right? So Steven has an idea like, I want you to be able to have a shield that grows, you get behind it and you hide, and projectiles will bounce off, and it'll be like, well, oh God.
Shield hype.
Yeah, okay.
Shield Hype. Ja, ein neues Stichwort.
This is a very recent conversation.
Er erzählt gerade darüber, dass Steven ein Schild haben wollte, hinter dem man sich verstecken kann und das größer wird, wenn man sich dahinter versteckt und dass Projektile von dem Schild abprallen sollten und dass sich das wahrscheinlich um eine ganz normale Diskussion innerhalb des Teams handelt, weil sie wohl von der Art her relativ häufig vorkommt.
Right? Exactly. So they come upstairs and they're like, oh, we have this shield and it transforms and it flies up in the air. I might be exaggerating, but it does all these crazy things. And I go, what? And it turns into this huge meeting of a kill talking about the technical design of it. And then it comes down to, okay, well, we have to make this work with 21 armor sets. So,
ja, und der Lead-Character-Designer erzählt gerade von der Idee, die irritiert ja darüber war, als er das erste Mal gehört hat, wie das technisch ermöglicht wird. Und dann sagt er, oh, und das müssen wir jetzt für 20 verschiedene Rüstungsteile machen.
The conversations that we're having up here around, they lend a lot to the speed that we work at. But what's great about this is, and this is the most sincere thing I can say, we don't get in conflicts. We literally will talk through. And Jeff is always the referee, because you are.
I'm the center.
Jeff is always the one that goes, guys, listen to each other. Gals, listen to the guys. And we will go back and forth at real time and figure it out all in an impromptu standing circle, and everybody scatters back to their desks and within days tries to get the stuff implemented. It's a very, very fast moving, but it works.
I'm curious, Akil, what's one of your favorite, because it's, you talk about the last year, and again, the pace that these guys work at, and I think part of it's the design philosophy, Stephen, that you put forth in terms of producing content. But what was a highlight for you on the technical side, to see the imaginations of these guys come together and you go, yeah.
Well, getting invisibility working, it seemed like it should have been a very easy thing, but it just ballooned out into a million different problems, and getting that all working again was pretty awesome.
Also, auf die Frage, was ein besonderes technisches Feature ist, auf das er ganz besonders stolz ist, erzählt er gerade über die Unsichtbarkeitsfunktion, die am Anfang natürlich sehr, sehr klein ausgesehen hat. Man hat auch gerade gesehen, die Geste, das aber in viele verschiedene Probleme ausgeartet ist und dann am Ende wieder zusammengeführt wurde, um das Problem zu lösen. Jetzt ist es die Probleme, wo sich alles wieder zusammenfindet und am Ende funktioniert.
And who are not here, but we do love them. And whenever there's something that can't be solved by a designer, they only need to turn their head and say, "Okay, you need to code this."
Yeah,
they're like,
Kevin,
beep 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 boop boop. It's done.
So you talked a little bit about the timeline you guys have been working with. We've talked about the milestones of only 1 year.
I don't think
do we have Pete? We don't know. We're putting Pete under more pressure.
We should have one timeline for sure. We can bring up the Alpha 1 Phase 1 timeline.
Oh, jetzt gibt es tatsächlich eine Timeline. Ich hoffe, wir sehen die natürlich auch noch.
There we go. Okay.
All right.
Oh ja, eine sehr basishaftige Timeline. Natürlich einfach im Text muss runterkramen.
About the phases of Alpha 1. Again, Phase 1 is really a phase that we kind of pivoted towards of the Alpha 1 delivery.
PvP and action combat is really what we want to focus on.
And really nailing down the matchmaking aspects of it. Do we want to go to the video? And then
Yes.
Gerade ist die Rede von einem Video.
I'm going to interpret their thought.
That's fine. Okay, we want to go. Okay, can we just, as a reference point, can we show last year combat? I know it's only like 10 seconds worth, but just to preface this.
Ja, wir sehen ein ganz kurzes 10-Sekunden-Video vom Kampf, wie er vor einem Jahr war.
Just put that in your mind for a moment before you're about to see the new hotness.
Really internalize it.
I just want just to give you a reference point of what, because I'm going to tell you something. As a player, you don't see stuff like that usually from studios because it's dangerous. It literally is dangerous because In the studios, they're looking at it like, look what we've accomplished in this short period of time. This took a few weeks or a month or something.
We got combat
working. We got combat working, right? And excited. And let's show the community the progress. And the community's like, no, this looks like crap. Game dead on arrival. You know, it's like,
Ja, sie erzählen gerade darüber, wie gefährlich es ist, solche kleinen Schnipsel zu zeigen, weil die Community natürlich, wenn sie die Nachricht nicht gut aufnimmt, sofort sagt, dass das Spiel tot ist bei der Geburt.
So, you know, that's typically how it works.
Can we see that again? I really want to see it again.
You really want to do that to Steven? Jeff, you said it.
Oh my God.
Ready? I'll shoutcast it.
It hurts my soul.
Go. No, stop. No, wait, go. Okay, stop.
Okay. Look at that skeleton. That skeleton was on it.
Skeleton was cool.
Okay. Okay. So now what we're going to show you has been a little under 4 months of work on the combat side. Just under 4 months of work.
It's basically the end of Alpha Zero.
This is, the end of Alpha Zero till now. And, you know, as I said, the art train never stops. You're going to see supreme advances just in the environment and the character pipeline and the weapons and whatnot. And then you're going to see pure action combat that we will eventually integrate into the combat system. So let's take a look at that new video. Let's get that music up.
So, und hier sieht man den Vergleich. So sieht das Spiel im aktuellen Stadium aus. So wird der Kampf... Meine Güte, haben die sich jetzt gerade alle unsichtbar gemacht? Das ist der Castle Siege-Modus. Irgendwie habe ich das ganz anders in Erinnerung gehabt von dem letzten Combat-Trailer. Der Kampf wirkt viel, viel dynamischer. Man kann sich als Busch tarnen, auch sehr schön. Man sieht hier natürlich im Video durchaus einige Schnitzel, die man schon im letzten Combat-Trailer gesehen hat, der vor einer Woche veröffentlicht wurde oder vielleicht auch ein paar Tagen mehr. Aber der Trailer lässt sich viel mehr Zeit. Sehr, sehr beeindruckend. Man beachte im Übrigen auch unten die Statusanzeige. Hatte sich geändert. Belagerungen werden im Spiel wirklich sehr, sehr heftig sein, wenn ich das hier richtig sehe. Ach, das war der Horde-Mode. Aber das hier ist doch ein Castle Siege. Oh, und der Stream ist abgerissen. Nein, ich bekomme Werbung. Ach ja. Grandios. Ja. Der Twitch-Chat regt sich zu Recht auf. Ich würde jetzt gerne klatschen.
You know what's great about that reaction is the 2 split-second pause before the clap because you're like... Oh, I gotta clap now. Like, that is insane. Thank you all.
Sehr, sehr beeindruckend. Also wenn das quasi der Unterschied ist zu einem Jahr, dann habe ich große Hoffnung, dass das Spiel alle seine Versprechen erfüllen wird.
What's it like to see this level of advancement in combat and speed and visceral experience for you guys as designers?
Sometimes I mean, back in the day, we never thought stuff like this was possible. Like in terms of, these are systems that we really can't touch because that's not what an MMO is, and this is not something that we can do technologically. Like it's too hard to have this kind of pace. So yeah, I mean, it's I feel like we're breaking barriers with what we're doing right now.
It's great to not have sacred cows, right?
Yeah.
Like to just be able to play with things and see what feels good and go with what feels good rather than have conventions that we need to stick with.
Yeah, Akil just totally nailed it. And go back even to conversation earlier, working with Steven. Because of how Steven interacts with
Unser Chat fragte übrigens gerade, ob wir nicht einfach schon zu Weihnachten releasen können, also dieses Jahr. Angesichts des Fortschritts würde das den meisten Leuten wahrscheinlich schon reichen, aber ne, wir warten mal lieber ab.
It's just different. So instead of like, Akil was saying with these white elephants, Steven is emotional about, since he's played games at 7 years old and the limits he wants to push. So even just for me, seeing the fidelity that you're able to do in Unreal Engine and the size of the worlds and the fact that and without naming certain EverQuest products,
Like EverQuest?
The one specifically, we never could get things like the Underrealm to work. So what stands out and I see you nodding your head, so what stands out to me is we couldn't get them to work at other places, but they're working now, right? So from a technological standpoint, what we're able to do...
Ja, vom technologischen Standpunkt her erzählt er gerade, was für einen Unterschied es macht, wenn man die Unreal Engine benutzt. Damals bei EverQuest war sowas wie der Unterwelt-Bereich, der geplant ist, nicht möglich. Und dadurch, dass Steven immer die Grenzen zu erweitern versucht, sehen sie jetzt natürlich auch, was möglich ist. Und sowas wie die Unterwelt wird durch die Unreal Engine tatsächlich wesentlich einfacher ermöglicht und das lässt den Designern viel Freiheit. Dann Blutadeln.
And not some crazy cinematic to try to sell us. Like I think as gamers, we know, right? We're not playing in a cinematic.
We all know.
That looks awesome, and the visual effects are just unbelievable. Make you feel epic, right? That's the new tagline, Nico. Make you feel epic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, taking a little bit back for a second, like the engine itself, I know there was a lot of flack we got early on about, Unreal's not a capable MMORPG engine, but the bottom line is it is. And
it is if you have the right engineers.
Absolutely. And the benefit of Unreal not only is epic support, but also the ability for our engineers to get into the source code of that and make what needs to work for our game work. That's why, talking a little bit about Phase 1. Let's go back to the timeline. Maybe we pull that timeline back up. So we'll give you a little details on Phase 1. The first it's not up here. Actually, the first thing should be the battlegrounds. So
ja, wir kommen nochmal zurück zur Timeline.
We have actually another announcement as well. We will begin testing for Phase 1, starting with a select number of Alpha 1 backers that we will randomly select and include. This is our stress test phase, and that will begin this week.
Oh, meine Güte, schon diese Woche werden sie einer kleinen Auswahl an Bäckern die Möglichkeit geben, am Stresstest teilzunehmen. Die Alpha 1 beginnt also tatsächlich